And one cool customer, only 54% from three-point land. Who else is going to take that shot?
Absolutely. When you consider Darius Maddox, his size, ability to elevate off the floor, and as you mentioned, 54% from three, he's the perfect candidate. No wonder he's made 2 game winners in the last 2 weeks.
I would have loved to have checked his blood pressure afterwards. Andrea talked to him, and man, was he as level as he had just rolled out of bed.
He was playing it cool. He was jumping all around on the inside.
Virginia Tech with the first touch, handed off here to Hunter Couture, another guy who can really shoot it. Murphy handling it now, was on fire in that first half yesterday, and it was a big part of their win. Keve off the window, and nicely done. Averages 16.7 rebounds a game. Here's the Notre Dame starting 5. And if you follow the Irish, you notice that Dane Goodwin is not in there. The 6'4" senior, 14 points, 5 rebounds a game. He will play a ton, but he's not in there right now.
And Goodwin has started every game this season for Notre Dame. But it was really his turn in the rotation.
Hokies with their starting lineup. Aline had a terrific game the first time they squared up. The only time they did earlier this year, which the Hokies won by 6. He had 22 in that game. And they're off to a really nice start. And they jump out in front 5-0. Hunter Couture with the bomb.
And that's the concern for Mike Brey. 7 of the 8 rotation players for Virginia Tech can shoot the 3 above 36%. So when you think about it, they've got shooters spacing the floor at all times.
Backing down Paul Atkinson Jr., but can't get the roll. He wins the rebound back. Batted away by Couture. They've got a 2-on-1. Murphy with a little pull-up here and drops it down.
Love the patience by Storm Murphy to check his surroundings, see who was around, if he had someone else open, and then deciding, I can take this one myself at the last moment.
Hokies firing out of the gate, still working off that great energy from last night. That's assuming they all slept. I'm not sure they did.
And this is an example of when you talk about the team having an advantage. When they play the game before, we talk with Mike Brey about that, as Blake Wesley gets an easy bucket. But Notre Dame has won 7 straight ACC tournament openers. Mike Brey has experience with this, but we still have to give Virginia Tech an advantage from having played a game last night.
Well, Mike has the Irish heading back to the NCAA tournament. Of course, he guided them to back-to-back Elite 8 appearances in 2015 and 16.
And Obi, Mike Brey, one of the most honest coaches you will talk to. Most coaches will give you coach speak and say, well, we're not done yet. But we asked him earlier, did you breathe a sigh of relief that the fact that this class and this team will be making it to the NCAA tournament? He actually told us straight up, yes, I did.
22nd season at the helm of Notre Dame, but his team's a little tight right now. You can see by that last turnover by Wesley. I mean, there was nobody home. He just flung it out of bounds.
Well, you know, that's one of the things with Blake Wesley. As great as he's been this season, you know, he's a difference maker for this Notre Dame team, and that's always a great thing. He leads them in turnovers and shot attempts as well.
Couture bounces out high for Aluma. Yes, with the triple. And it is 10-2 Virginia Tech.
And you see, and we've seen a number of teams get out to big runs to start games early here in this ACC tournament thus far. Notre Dame just needs to continue to stick with their guns.
Krzyzewski can't hit. He's the man who subbed into the starting lineup. Mike Young had a great night last night. And if you are a Hokie fan, heck, if you're a college basketball fan, don't you have to love what he did last night? He said, I am not playing for any tie. I'm trying to win the game. He's got a team on the bubble, Corey, and goes for the win. He puts the basketball in Maddox's hand, and he bottoms out the 3. It's a great shot. It's a clutch shot. Wonderful for him, but also wonderful for Mike Young.
It absolutely was. And again, Mike Young said, our bubble's not going to burst by us playing it safe. We're going for the win and can appreciate it. But when you've got a 54% three-point shooter, you're taking your chances on that one.
Hubb got hit, got the shot in the air with 5 on the shot clock. Prentiss Hubb, the 6'3" senior. And he is headed to the line. Notre Dame, the number 2 seed. As mentioned, they faced the Hokies once in the regular season in Blacksburg. And Hokies won that game 79-73. That was back in January.
And at that time, Notre Dame was 4-0, I believe, 4-1 in the ACC. and Virginia Tech was struggling. I'm not sure they won an ACC game at that time, and it was a big win for the Hokies, getting them started on the positive trajectory.
So Aluma and Murphy to the bench, along with Aline for the Hokies, who are 20-12. Absolutely thrilling overtime win over Clemson last night, 76-75. They have won 10 of their last 12 games. So a 10-4 lead. The winner moving into Friday's semifinals, and the winner of North Carolina and Virginia, which we have coming up later on tonight. For tonight's Need to Know, brought to you by Principal Financial Group. Virginia Tech has won 5 of the last 6 against Notre Dame. Mike Young, success against the Irish. Hokies seeking the first ACC tournament win against Notre Dame. Couture into the paint, pulls up, and it drops in.
And I like that from Hunter Couture. You know how great of a shooter he is, but now showing a different dimension to his game, because teams are going to run him off the three-point line, and you see Couture has more in his bag.
Mike Young says he does a lot of things that Coach loves, over and above hitting three-pointers, taking charges. He's a very, very intelligent player, and that will take it the other way, the whistle.
And Paul Atkinson Jr. with the spin, stepping on the baseline. And again, you're going up against a very strong Justin Mutz, and that's one of the reasons why Mike Brey decided to start Nate Laszewski as well as Paul Atkinson Jr. because of the strength and the skill along the front line of Virginia Tech. He wanted to be able to match that. The reason why Dane Goodwin, who's the only player who had started every game this year for Notre Dame, came off the bench.
Mutz slings it up top for Couture. Mutz on the spin, trying to get underneath. He got the shot off. He'll be at the line. So a terrific start for the Hokies as they are out in front 12-4 against the Irish. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love for over 175 years. For Notre Dame, but they know some things are far more important, and their hearts are with the people of Ukraine, as they showed during our national anthem here tonight in Brooklyn, New York.
Justin Mutz on the line for Virginia Tech, shooting 2.
Well, Justin Mutz at the line here for the Hokies, where he makes 70% and drops in number 1.
And that point number 9, points off of turnovers for Virginia Tech in this game. Already 4 turnovers for Notre Dame, which is uncharacteristic. And the Hokies have capitalized on each and every one of them.
Well, it's very tough on the glass. Clemson will tell you that. Last night, 10 rebounds. And that scintillating victory for the Hokies. Let's see if the Irish can get rolling. The number 2 seed off to a choppy start. Trey Wirtz, 6'5" senior, was number 2. You may recall he hit a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer to beat Wake in the first round of last year's tournament. Goodwin fighting for the rebound, but he was on the line. And it goes back over to Virginia Tech.
You know, we got to keep an eye on Dane Goodwin. It's different when you don't start a game. Of course, he came off the bench, was a 6th Man of the Year candidate a season ago, but it's been a starter all this year, and oftentimes it can throw you out of rhythm. Be interesting to see how he adjusts throughout this game and if he still has the same effect.
It's also a situation where a head coach has to be a little delicate how he approaches a senior and says, hey, look, it's your turn to come off the bench. We've been doing this with everybody else, this rotation all year, but you're in tournament play now. And that clock was down to 7 before the foul, and offensive.
With no lack of effort for Dane Goodwin defensively, sliding his feet, doing a great job getting over, absorbing the contact from Gassan. As you see David Gassan lower that left shoulder, Dane Goodwin picking up the foul.
Goodwin named to the All-ACC 3rd team, and a driving lay-in will cut the deficit to 14-6. As Prentiss Hubb gets unleashed, the 6'3" senior. Aluma. Moline had a terrific game against the Irish first time around. Here's Padula will launch and connect. They got some shooters, man.
They absolutely do. Virginia Tech can flat out shoot the basketball. It was a concern of Mike Bray to make sure they identify the shooters.
Olszewski gets the feed and converts.
As you can see just how much attention the freshman Blake Wesley attracts in screen and roll action. That time a great job finding Nate Olszewski for the easy bucket.
Padula on the drive, going in strong and one. He burned his defender, made the shot.
Sean Padula not afraid at all. Great job attacking the basket off the bounce. A nice in and out to the cross to move Blake Wesley enough to get to the rim, absorbing the contact for the and one, which of course here in New York City is always going to be popular.
Indeed. Wesley was first personal. Well, Padula can really fill it up. You know all about Darius Maddox, and we saw a lot of great shooting out of Storm Murphy last night. They've got dangerous guys beyond that three. Way downtown, it's Hubb, and he will answer right back with his own triple.
Well, Prentiss Hubb has really made a transformation throughout this season. He struggled mightily early in the year, and he was actually the first change in the starting lineup for Mike Bray, where Coach Bray decided to bring him off the bench. And Notre Dame has really taken off ever since. But he gives a lot of credit to Prentiss Hubb for his leadership this year.
Not this time for Padula. Over the 6'10" Olszewski. And a tough drive in traffic by Wesley. He will draw the foul. The freshman from South Bend, Indiana. In his first career start at Purcell Pavilion, he hit the game-winning shot to beat Kentucky with 12 seconds to go.
And that was the game where Prentiss Hubb came off the bench, and that Kentucky game was a season changer for this Notre Dame Fighting Irish group.
He's 65% at the line. Very well-rounded player. But short on that one. Nothing but net. The crew will be back tonight at 11:30 Eastern to break down all the quarterfinals. They have post-game interviews, plus a look ahead at tomorrow's semifinals on the ACC network and the ESPN app. And 1 of 2 for Blake Wesley.
And you see Notre Dame now starting to settle in a little bit offensively, finding a little bit of rhythm, being more aggressive, but it's going to be about the defensive stops for them right now and how they are able to guard all the shooting for Virginia Tech.
Tough drive once again, and another foul by Notre Dame. Padula taking it right to the hole.
And Padula's minutes have increased as the season has gone along. Storm Murphy pretty much played 30 to 35 minutes early in the year at the point guard spot. But right now, Murphy and Padula are splitting time. Padula gives them that element of being able to attack the basket and finish amongst the trees.
Sean Padula looks like he ought to be delivering your morning newspaper. He looks that young, but he
do they still do that?
I don't get one. I was looking at you. It's a fair point, but he's a tough kid.
He is absolutely a tough kid. You see he's got some upper body strength and, more importantly, some quickness and some bounce once he gets into the painted area.
And another good foul shooter. So he has scored the last 8 Hokie points. Talking about Padula. And they're up by 10.
Now this is the matchup that was concerning to Mike Bray. Dan Goodwin having to deal with either Keve Aluma or Justin Lutz as we have another turnover from Notre Dame. Uncharacteristically not doing a great job handling the basketball for their 5th turnover already.
Take a look. This is off of him.
And that's going to be off of, it looks like it went off of Aluma's knee. Blake Wesley not happy about that one. I wouldn't be either.
On the second look, you're right. Bounce speed here to Aluma. Named to the All-ACC second team for the 2nd year in a row, but that didn't come out of his hand right because there was a foul on the play. He got hit.
We go back to the previous possession. Blake Wesley in attack mode, trying to get downhill, and the basketball goes off of Keve Aluma's leg and out of bounds. Difficult position for the official to be in to judge that one, but that was a break in the direction of the Hokies.
Good crew here. Bert Smith, Clarence Armstrong, and Ramey Steins. Aluma at the line, 78% there. There was so much attention, and justifiably, around Darius Maddox hitting that giant shot last night. But Aluma had 19 points, 10 rebounds against Clemson.
Well, and Kebe Aluma has been special, but that's the biggest concern for Mike Brey in this game. The reason you can't double team him is because of all of the shooting on the perimeter for Virginia Tech. So you kind of have to pick your poison. Do you want to allow him to go at you and put up 25 to 30, or do you want to have to make someone else beat you? And right now, everything has been going for the Hokies.
Maddox to the bench. Underneath the catch, but no conversion there by Atkinson Jr. He could not get it to drop. Murphy back into the fray, up top for Aluma. He was deadly in that opening half yesterday against the Tigers from three-point land. Off to Couture. Shot clock down to 7. Aline with a difficult drive. He was off balance.
Numbers for the Fighting Irish right now.
Hubb shot won't go in the paint.
Missed opportunity. Prentiss Hubb getting into the painted area, had opportunity to find a shooter on the perimeter.
He goes sprawling. Now they have a bit of an advantage here. Under 12 minutes to play here in the first half in Brooklyn. Aluma not there. And Krzyzewski rebound. Krzyzewski was sidelined by a stomach virus earlier this month, right before the Syracuse game. Barely made it to shoot around, but then he got into the game and played 28 minutes, scored 17. So really toughed it out of that one. But a misfire there.
Justin Mutz yelling, "Give me the basketball" right now, feeling like he has the advantage over Nate Krzyzewski. Mike Young calling his number from the sideline.
Murphy slamming on the break.
And he gets the basketball. You love that type of execution, getting it to a guy.
Atkinson comes over and bats it away. It'll be the Hokies basketball. 11:09 remaining. Ray's Dish on the ACC tournament coming your way from Brooklyn, New York in just a moment.
Coming back with my dish on the ACC tournament so far. A couple things to note. It's been awesome, baby. 3 overtime games. This is the 3rd time in history that has happened. 5 games have been decided by 6 points or less. And Brooklyn so far is for lovers. Virginia and Virginia Tech still alive. But I want to go to that top one. Awesome baby. That is a nod to the great Dick Vitale. And Obi, we've got some news on Dick Vitale.
Well, it's the best of news, Andreas, certainly. And we all know and love Dickie V. And this has been such a terribly difficult time for him. But he got great news today. He is cancer-free. He has made that announcement. He tweeted that out today. Foul underneath here against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I'll tell you what, I read that and I just smiled all afternoon.
Happy for Dickie V. And of course, when you think ACC tournament, I grew up watching it and then grew up watching Dickie V in this event. And one of my favorite moments all time, sitting right behind Dickie V and Dan Schulman as Kyle Singler plows Dan Schulman over. And Dickie V stands up yelling, "You took the charge, baby. You took the charge, baby." One of my first ACC tournaments, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And I tell you what, miss Dickie V being here.
Yes.
But he's meant so much to this league and this tournament.
He's made, such a difference in my life. I can tell you that. He has the heart of a lion, and I'm so happy that he is cancer-free. And soon we'll be returning to what he does so well and what we love him for, and what the game really loves him for too. 25-12. Hokies off to a really nice start. With 10:51. Well, you were asking for it. Let's relive that moment. Here it is.
That is it. So I'm about 1 row behind that. And you see him coming in, and I'm like standing up. There I am. You see me right at the top of the screen. And I watched it like, whoa. And I tell you what, that's when I became a Dan Schulman fan.
Right there.
I said, that guy right there, he is tough as nails because he didn't move.
Yeah.
He stayed in with his headset on, stared it down because Dickie V got moving, baby. Dickie V was not taking that contact.
By the way, he does a lot of things much better than that. I can vouch for that. But I get the biggest kick out of the fact that you were like, a guy's getting plowed out, and you're like, there I am. Look at me. I'm in the back row. I'm 100%.
I was great. I had a perfect view of it.
Outstanding. Mutz on the baseline. Drawn a lot of attention whenever he touches it. Aline leaning in and rattles in two. Aline again, 22 against the Irish earlier this season. Can he get rolling?
And Virginia Tech right now is very comfortable on the offensive end. Notre Dame hasn't really done anything to this point to make them uncomfortable, but that has not been the case on the opposite end. Virginia Tech doing a great job defensively.
Wesley trying to split two defenders, getting it up over Mutz, but he got a piece of that.
And another reason why Justin Mutz feels as though he should have been on the All-ACC defensive team. A block shot on the last possession.
Did that happen to you at all? Because you were very highly honored at Virginia. Did you get snubbed once or twice and carry it with you?
No, I was never snubbed. I was never supposed to be on anybody's all-defensive team. Let's start with that. And I did make All-ACC.
You certainly did. Murphy with the reverse made that look a little too easy. And a timeout. And Virginia Tech's lead balloons to 29-14 against the Fighting Irish, the number 2 seed. Virginia Tech, they're starting to settle in now with a healthy lead.
And Storm Murphy playing with confidence, and you see the hesitation. Prentiss Hubb stopping on the action, allowing Murphy to get an angle and then the finish. But Dane Goodwin is caught in the pickle right there. He doesn't know whether he has to recover out to Aluma, who can knock down the three, or shut off Murphy, and caught in no man's land, giving up the easy layup.
Hokies the 7 seed, Notre Dame number 2. Little step back here, Leshevsky, and he'll drop it in from the corner. He's outstanding out there, 47% beyond that line.
Yeah, Notre Dame, the only team nationally with 2 players in the top 5 in three-point shooting when you consider Dane Goodwin as well as Nate Leshevsky 3rd and 5th, respectively.
Irish ended the regular season with a pair of victories and 15 inside the conference. Another quick strike by Aluma. On the baseline. Goodwin has it knocked away. Aluma, good defense once again. And another Irish turnover. Murphy pulls up. Big rebound by Mutz, and did a great job to deflect it off Goodwin out of play.
In basketball in 2020, no mid-range. Nate Leshevsky recognizing, wait a minute, I need to step back to make sure I get 3 for this look. And it was the right decision for Leshevsky, as you mentioned, shooting close to 47% from beyond the arc, and knocks down a much-needed 3 for the Irish.
Senior's got to get those big feet beyond that line. Not easy to do. 8:58 to go in the half. And the Hokies came out in good form, and they have maintained it. Maddox back in the game. Maddox will pull up and knock down the shot, a 2-pointer.
And he's deadly off the dribble, and not just from three-point range. He's very good in the mid-range, but you see Darius Maddox's confidence is growing throughout this season.
Wirtz gives up the dribble. Here's Blake Wesley with a shot clock down to 7. He's got to get a shot in the air. Nice spin, and it won't drop. It caught a lot of iron, but wouldn't fall for it. And good defense here by Ryan. And big-time numbers, and Wesley will slam that down. The Irish turn that turnover into points. Wesley now is 7. 33-19. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, you know, guys, Coach Bray was talking to us about how his team is playing with a lot of confidence, but he went back to the Duke game at home and how the moment was really big for them and they were tense. Corey, I would say that this looks similar.
Well, Dre, we were there for that game, and we'll talk about it when we come back from commercial. Because right now, Virginia Tech is comfortable with a 14-point lead.
Inside the play.
Well, Virginia Tech is operating very well on the offensive end of the floor. A little too well for Mike Bray's concern. And you see the dribble handoff and then the look back to Kevin Aluma, who was able to step up and knock down the 3. But you see all the space he has. And then Sean Padula off the bounce. Defenders scared to help, giving Padula not only the opportunity for the finish, but also the and one. And right now, you can see defensively the moment may be a little big for Notre Dame, coming in a little tight in this game. What do you think, Drake?
I think so defensively, a little bit offensively. We'll see if that shot goes in. But to me, Corey, you know, they look a little hesitant also on the offensive end, getting stuck in the air. 6 turnovers. This is a team that averaged a little less than 10 turnovers in ACC play. So I think there's some hesitancy on both sides.
And you see now Mike Bray going to the zone defense because Virginia Tech has been so much of a handful to guard and man-to-man, resorting to the zone. And this is one of the areas where Notre Dame's been so much better this season.
Well, a rare miss here in the first half for the Hokies there by Mutz. They were shooting 65% in the first half until that miss. Under 7 minutes to go. The Hokies looking very sharp. Wesley on the drive, scoops it, but a miss. And Murphy running the point for Mike Young, who yesterday won his 20th game as the head coach of the Hokies. First time he's won 20 with this program. Gasson will easily finish that one.
Mike Young has talked a lot about how great a passer Justin Mutz is, and he just showed it off there, the beautiful interior passing for Virginia Tech.
If you're Mike Bray, you want that clock to run. You want to get to halftime to change some things, don't you?
No, I want to cut into this lead before we get there right now. You don't want to go into the halftime locker room down 16, but you've got to find a way to really crack this Virginia Tech defense that doesn't get enough credit.
Mutz knocks it away, and the shot clock expires. Well, they better be careful because it might be a lot worse than that. 35-19.
But there's been hesitancy on the offensive end of the floor for Notre Dame. And again, Virginia Tech, as great as they are offensively in their shooting, they don't get credit for doing the job defensively. They were second in the ACC in scoring defense behind Virginia this year. And Mike Young has implemented a great system on the defensive end for the Hokies.
Well, Notre Dame has been a very confident team, but they haven't been in this first half. And a misses. Ryan will haul in the rebound. And yeah, they need a run right here very badly. Atkinson Jr. kicks it back out for Hubb. And now another fumble. They continue to turn it over. That's 8 times already here in the first half.
But that's great defense from Justin Mutz on that possession, and he's not an easy win when you get him into the post. Part of the reason why he normally guards the biggest guy that Virginia Tech plays against.
Mutz will launch that one very strong, and a whistle that'll go against Gasson and Virginia Tech. On the foul, number 2 on Gasson, the 6'9" sophomore from the Netherlands. Wesley will step aside now for Mike Bray as he continues to search for answers and the right mix.
Well, one of the things that Mike Bray told us earlier was Blake Wesley will take a few flyers, and that means he's not always taking the best shot for the team, but because he's so explosive and so dynamic, they allow him to get away with it, and the veterans around him have allowed it. But it hasn't worked here for them this afternoon.
Mutz right around the foul line. On the spin. Left it short. He's had a difficult time of it in the first 20. Cormac Ryan trying to get inside and draws the foul. And Aluma thought it should have been a held ball and no personal foul there. That was all basketball, but he's going to pick up his second personal.
But I respect that attack of the rim by Cormac Ryan, knowing that the threes aren't working right now for Notre Dame, trying to get something positive going in their favor, whether it's going to be at the basket or at the free throw line.
Ryan very good at that line. He's an 80% foul shooter. And Aluma with the 2 fouls will come out right now. And Gasson back in. The senior to the bench, at least for a moment. In this tournament, a homecoming for Ryan, who's a New York native. He goes 2 for 2 at the line.
How about the background for Cormac Ryan, though, to be able to say not only did you graduate from Notre Dame, but you started out at Stanford. That's two pretty good schools there, OB.
I mean, that's a nice degree wall, isn't it? I mean, you walk in and go, this is where where did you go to school? Mutz in close for 2. So a 16-point lead. He has 5, 1 for 5 shooting it in the first half in Brooklyn.
And speaking of degrees, you're talking about a gentleman that's working on his 3rd in Justin Mutz right now, the Skip Prosser Award winner for the ACC this year.
A foul in the paint with 4 minutes to go on Maddox, number 1. Darius Maddox. Round number, how many texts did he get last night after that game-winning shot?
In today's age, you know what? Text probably 100, 150, but more DMs. In today's age, it's more about the DMs than it is about the text. So I'm
how
sure,
many are you thinking?
Oh, the DMs were popping. I'm going at least 500 DMs. The DMs were popping last night.
And that might be light.
You make a game winner with the notorious DOB on the call? Come on, baby. Maybe 1,000. Maybe 1,000.
Up at the line. Senior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. About 4 assists per game. Outstanding passer. Notre Dame, very good passing team, as is typically the case under Mike Brey. And makes 1 of 2. So the Irish down by 15. Obviously Notre Dame the favorite is the number 2 seed, but Virginia Tech coming off a sensational win last night against Clemson at the buzzer in overtime. An all-time win for them. Padula gives it up. It'll go the other way back to Notre Dame. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal.
Survives and advances to take on Boise State. Guys, back in BK.
And how about my guy, LaFonso Ellis, taking in his first ever ACC tournament.
First ever.
First time he's ever been here. Of course, when he became a studio analyst in 2019-2020 season, before they were able to get to Greensboro, I believe, that year, the tournament was canceled. This is his first time being on site for the ACC tournament, and I can tell you right now, Fonz is living his best life.
He looks like a king looking over, his subjects. There's
my guy. You want to talk about the best people on earth. He is top 5 right now. When you think about LaFonso Ellis, it doesn't get much better than that. But he is concerned about his Notre Dame Fighting Irish at this moment.
He sure is. And Virginia Tech, 13 field goals made. Notre Dame only 6. And Gasson with a bump there. He commits the foul. Let's go to Andrea.
Guys just listened in on that Notre Dame huddle. A lot of players coaching themselves, talking amongst themselves on what they're seeing and what will work. Big emphasis on being patient, playing quick, but not in a hurry. Coach Brey told the team, we don't need to get back in it immediately. Their goal is single digits by halftime.
And Dre, you were a point guard, so that's one of the things that when you think about that, how often were you the person in that huddle talking to your team about that in this type of situation?
Absolutely. You have to be the one to give that calming sense, and you're the tone setter, and Prentiss Hubb was the loudest voice in that huddle.
Now, Fonz will tell you it's all about what the big man has to say in the huddle, right? follow the big fella.
Yeah, that's actually a John Wooden terminology. Be fast, but not in a hurry. And that's one of the things, all coaches use that to this day, because you want to make sure that you are getting from point A to point B as quickly as you possibly can, playing fast, but at the same time, you often make mistakes when you're in a hurry.
Hassan and Aluma, a little bit of foul trouble, 3 and 2. Padula, the kick out for Couture, gets a couple of men in the air. Maddox will give it up. Shot clock down to 5 now for the Hokies. Mutz on the drive. Good defense by Atkinson Jr. with 3 on the shot clock. And we check out the bracket. Now the winner of this one moves into Friday night semifinals. And the winner of North Carolina and Virginia, which we have coming up tonight at 9:30. Duke and Miami already safely in tomorrow at 7 o'clock on ESPN.
But we've seen all the higher seeds thus far come in and struggle in the first half. Duke struggled in the first half of their game, as did Miami. But what they did not do was dig themselves as big of a hole as Notre Dame has here right now. And you're talking about making it difficult for you to be able to make that run in the second half. So that for Mike Brey right now, he wants to make sure they can cut into this lead before halftime.
Doesn't sound like there's any panic there. A bit of a clock issue here, so an official stop. 2:57 showing and 3 to shoot. And Virginia Tech leading at 37-24. And did the ball ever get to the rim? So they are at the monitor, as mentioned. Bert Smith and Clarence Armstrong and Ramey Steins, the crew here tonight for game number 1.
And you see on the reverse layup, Atkinson gets the block and the basketball does touch the rim. So we should see a reset to 20 seconds on the shot clock. Cormac Ryan coming in trying to gather the rebound, but knocks it out of bounds.
Well, looking forward to the game later on tonight too. North Carolina and Virginia. Virginia playing Virginia basketball last night, sneaking away with a 51-50 victory.
And Virginia was not playing Virginia basketball the last time they played North Carolina. Armando Bacot went for 29 points and 22 rebounds in that matchup. And Virginia, I'm sure, thinking they've got to find a way to stop that here tonight.
Carolina fans already beginning to fill up this building prior to their matchup tonight against the Cavaliers. So the Hokies to check it in. They did reset the shot clock. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Here's a lead. Let's back off here to Padula. He'll launch a triple and got it. Bottoms.
And so calm. No, it almost seems like a drop coverage as how Notre Dame is guarding, and you can't guard shooters like Sean Padula in drop coverage. You got to stay up.
Oh, nice job there. Taking a bump, took some contact, but he laid it in. Not a big time scorer for the Irish, but 9 points a game. Padula again, stopping on the baseline. Here's Couture. He'll drive it hard with the left hand for 2.
And that's the second time we've seen Hunter Couture in attack mode going to the basket. Because everyone knows about his three-point prowess, he's added that to his game.
The Hokies are on their A game. Atkinson Jr. loses that. Plenty of turnovers for the Irish in the first 20. Couture's triple. Lions snatching the rebound. Krzyzewski dumping off for Atkinson. Up thought about it. He'll drive it now off balance and got the roll and took a hit on it as well. I don't know how he made that thing, but he's going to the line.
And throughout the last 4 years, when you need a big shot for the Irish, it's been Prentiss Hubb. He's got multiple game winners in his resume. And this time, the great body control to avoid the charge from Hunter Couture, and still the concentration to get the bucket.
Not much contact there as Hubb will connect on the three-point play, 42-29. You heard some howling from the Hokie fans on that foul call. So under 90 to go before the break. Mutz downstairs. Lots of contact. No whistle. Trying the window, but a miss. And he has been frustrated.
Well, he's been frustrated on the offensive end, but defensively he's been spectacular and really leading this Virginia Tech team, and where they've been the best all night is on the defensive end of the floor.
Ryan off the bump, knocks it in. 42-31, so Notre Dame nudging a little bit closer, less than a minute. And Padula will set it up for the Hokies.
As you're Mike Brey, you're imploring your team, we just need one stop. Try to get it within single digits.
Couture in strong. Mutz went for the tip. And it'll stay on this end with 36 seconds to go. it's been uphill all half for Mike Bray and the Irish. Sean Padula to check in now. Maddox. Padula will launch it. And it won't drop for him, so plenty of time here for Notre Dame. Trying to get inside 11 points. And 15 seconds to the break. Atkinson up to the screen. Hubb taking time down to 3. Hubb swings here, and they're going to turn it over right at the buzzer, and that's our halftime score. Irish didn't get a shot off. Tough half for Coach Bray and Notre Dame as Virginia Tech leads it 42-31.
Characteristic of what we saw from Notre Dame. Turn or zone drop coverage against Sean Padula is a mistake. If you're Paul Atkinson, you can't stun at that. You've got to get up, contest that shot. That's shooting fish in the barrel for Sean Padula.
Different story the first time they met, and that was a victory for Virginia Tech, but Notre Dame played a lot better. They had an 8-point lead at halftime. They only turned it over 3 times. They have 10 already in this game, but it's also a reminder Notre Dame has the ability to come back and jump back in very quickly.
And more importantly, Virginia Tech has turned those 10 Notre Dame turnovers into 14 points, and that's really been the difference in this game.
Interesting to note that Dane Goodwin, who did not start for the Fighting Irish, is in there to begin the second half.
And was scoreless in the first half, so Mike Bray bringing Goodwin off the bench did not benefit them in the first half. We'll see if he can get going here in the second stanza.
Virginia Tech's lead as high as 16 in the first half. Backing inside Mutz and takes the hit. He'll be at the line.
However, that is exactly the reason why Mike Bray didn't start Dane Goodwin in this game, because he's been playing at the 4 spot, fearful of Justin Mutz backing him down into the paint.
Number 1 on Dane Goodwin to send Mutz to the line, a 70% shooter. Had a triple-double against Syracuse, 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists. That was just the second time in school history they've had one of those, but can't make it a three-point play. Let's go to Andrea Carter.
Well, Corey, you talked about Notre Dame's defense. I talked to Coach Bray at halftime, and he talked all offense. He said Virginia Tech's physical defense really sped them up. He wants his guys to move the ball instead of trying to attack the first switch that they get. He said Justin Mutz can guard any guard in the league. We've got to move the ball to get good looks.
And Dre, you talked to Mike Bray, who's one of the best offensive coaches in college basketball, as Cormac Ryan knocks down the 3. But had you talked to your guy Anthony Solomon, he would have talked all defense. He's the associate head coach at Notre Dame, and he is the defensive guru for them.
So they cut it to 10. As you mentioned, Cormac Ryan, who can hit those threes, he's 39%. Notre Dame, good three-point shooting team, 38% overall. Kebe Aluma for 2.
And you see when Notre Dame is smaller with Dane Goodwin at that 4 spot, the focus of Virginia Tech is to get the basketball in the painted area and score over the top.
Up back to Goodwin. Banging there inside. Can't connect. Mutz with a rebound. Can the Hokies win their way off the bubble here in Brooklyn?
And Dre, does this game look eerily similar to you than the game that we did when Duke went to South Bend, where Dane Goodwin was scoreless from the field?
Yes, it looks very similar, and Coach Bray actually touched on that at halftime. When he said that they're being sped up, I told him, Coach, that's the same thing you said to me at the Duke game. And he said, did I say that? Well, we didn't get it together in that game. We got to get it together in this one.
Maybe the plan was to get the ball to number 5, Cormac Ryan. He's come out hot here in the second half at the Barclays Center. Aline, yes, he'll stick that. They're getting in that paint.
They are attacking the paint. And this one thing about this Virginia Tech team is not just about their shooting. They have the ability to play off the bounce as well. Makes them dangerous on the offensive end of the floor.
Looking for their 21st win. Ryan again on Aline. Got too far underneath. Needs a lot of help. Out high for Hubb. Shot clock down to 9. Knocked away by Mutz. He's ahead. Trying to hang on. Draws the foul, and he'll be headed to the foul line. Justin Mutz, you've talked about his defense tonight has been superb.
He has been active in passing lanes, great hands as we see the Tar Heels in the building. Hubert Davis coming in, has to be feeling good about his team and their chances after their performance at Cameron Indoor last Saturday. And when you look at North Carolina, that 35 championship game appearances, and I'm sure they're looking to get to another one here.
Just 35. That kind of rolls off the tongue, right?
That's
35 championship game appearances. Just incredible. And Mutz will have another one coming.
As a matter of fact, the last time the Tar Heels were in this building, they lost in the championship to Virginia. So we've got a rematch of the 2018 championship game coming up next.
Yeah, a little payback. As Mutz can't connect on either one. So it remains 48-36, the Hokies. On the cut, once again, number 5, Cormac Ryan. He's been the man.
And you see substitutions from Mike Bray. Trey Wertz coming into the game, as well as Paul Atkinson Jr. A bigger lineup and a more defensive-focused lineup, taking Dane Goodwin and Prentiss Hubb off the floor.
Mutz will sling it. Aline. Mutz wants to drive it. Almost left it behind. Aline nearly lost his balance, and there is a whistle there. And Blake Wesley can't believe it. He's beside himself. 16-11 to go here in the second half. 10-point game.
And Mike Bray doesn't like it either, as you see the contact. And there was absolutely contact between Wesley and Aline. However, Mike Bray feels as though Aline pushed off, but because Blake Wesley is bigger and stronger, Aline starts to fall backwards.
Number 2 on Wesley. Murphy. Aloma once again into the paint. Murphy will fire up a 3, and it's around and out. Notre Dame trying to get inside 10 here. Ryan again. Not this time. He's taking most of their shots in the opening minutes of the second half.
But he's gotten it going a little bit offensively, a little quick on that trigger. But Mike Bray is never going to mind his shooters when they have a good look taking the shot. He just wants to make sure they're defending on this other end.
Storm Murphy to the lane. Aluma. Couture, they go around the horn. Aline sticks it. And a whistle as well. Boy, tremendous ball movement here by the Hokies to find a shooter.
That's what you like to say. The ball was snapping around the perimeter. Great passing, a great look as Naheem Aline knocks down another 3.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Virginia in the building here in Brooklyn. Inside the play.
Well, the most expensive real estate in New York City, Park Avenue. And that painted area is Park Avenue. You see Storm Murphy get to Park Avenue, and once you touch the paint, the ball moving, it starts popping, finding Naheem Aline, knocking down the 3 through the contact. As a long
You talk about getting to the paint court. Look how low Storm Murphy's drive is. His shoulders are at the defender's hips on the attack. That's what initiated everything. The way he's low, the way he changes speeds, especially from my angle sitting right here on the sidelines, really impressive.
Absolutely, playing like you, Dre. And more importantly, that was a long recovery for Cormac Ryan to try to get from the opposite block all the way out to the 3-point line to defend that shot.
Wesley wants the lane, flips it up, draws a whistle, and was fouled before the shot. Virginia Tech in bench points. How about this? 15-0 in favor of Mike Young's team.
But you know, one thing that when you look at this Virginia Tech team, they're the only team in the ACC that has started the exact same lineup the entire season. And so you take that into consideration. And now when you look at Dane Goodwin coming off the bench in this game, a 14-point-per-game scorer for Notre Dame, you wouldn't expect for those numbers to be that way. But Goodwin scoreless in this one. And Darius Maddox, David Gasson, and Sean Padula have all been in the scoring column here tonight.
52-38, Wesley at the line. Just 65% there. This is when you know you're working to get that stool there. Mike Young sitting on through the game, occasionally anyway.
Or, for me, that's when you know your hip hurts.
Or your hip hurts.
Yeah, you got to sit down. You've been up a little bit too long. Need to take a break.
12-point lead for the Hokies. Not been using it very much tonight, that's for sure.
And when your offense is playing like this, your hip doesn't hurt.
No, nothing hurts, right? Aline, a little off target there. Notre Dame to push it. Wesley down the lane. Boy, he got a great look. He could not finish with the layup. Been that kind of night for the Fighting Irish, at least to this point.
It really has. They've gotten great looks and great opportunities, but as you mentioned, just unable to finish. And more importantly, to get this lead down into single digits.
Hokies continue to move the ball so effectively. Pull up pop here. Maddox. No. That just wasn't deep enough for him. He needs to be 10 feet beyond that three-point line.
He's saying he needed a step back added to that.
I think he did. What a heroic shot last night that was. He had it all the way. No doubt about it. Wesley off the dribble. And both sides have got a little bit chilly. That didn't touch anything.
But twice on that same possession, Lake Leshevsky was open for an opportunity, did not get the basketball, and ended up being a very tough shot at the end of the shot clock.
Winner to play in the semifinals here in Brooklyn against the winner of North Carolina and Virginia coming up later. Duke and Miami already into the semifinals. Earlier today is Aluma, but no. And the Hokies one and done as the Irish get it back. Works, nice bounce there. And a tough shot by Leshevsky, but he got it to go.
I love the emotion by Leshevsky right there. He just let out a scream. Getting one to go down through the contact. No call, not complaining at all, just continuing to play basketball.
Back to a 10-point game. Aluma up with a screen. Maddox lets fly. Yeah, got that. He hits a two.
Dangerous off the dribble. Of course, we saw for the game winner, but we saw it multiple times last night, multiple times here tonight. Darius Maddox, when he gets a rhythm, off the bounce.
Goodwin clapping for the basketball. He wanted it right back for the drive and two. Yeah, he really commanded the ball back to him.
He did. He saw his defender fall down and wanted it back immediately. He wanted to let a three fly. Virginia Tech doing a great job running him off the line.
Goodwin's first points of this game. Again, he didn't start. Here's Aline. He sticks it. Nothing but net. Naheem Aline with the bucket.
Virginia Tech has so many options on the offensive end.
Thought you made a great point as we came on the air. The difference between a team like Notre Dame, they get it inside to the big guy Leshevsky, another basket, having not played yet in the tournament, and somebody like the Hokies who are already in rhythm. It's played out that way in Virginia Tech's favor. They're on top here in the second half by 10 over the number 2 seed. Seconds. Maddox wants to take the three. He drinks it at the buzzer. Darius Maddox drills it. 76 to 75. Well, quite a moment in Champ Week. Anything can happen. Darius Maddox, not the first time he's done that this season. Did it against Miami as well. They wanted him to have the basketball. You saw why.
And you know the most interesting part about that for me, Obi? The last play of the game, the final possession, with your NCAA tournament future hanging in the balance. Mike Young took his two best players off the floor. Kevin Aluma and Justin Mutz were on the sideline watching Darius Maddox knock down the game-winning three. That's how much trust he has in this entire team.
And Mike Young is a riverboat gambler, I'll tell you that. Gutsy. Mutz on the back down to the paint. Yes. And they keep getting it in there, Corey, and it's paying dividends.
And Justin Mutz is a load to handle on the block, and you see they have two guys that can put the basketball in their hands in the post. Kevin Aluma now checking back in the game, but they can play through those two players.
On the slam, Atkinson with a nice answer to cut it back to 10 on the dunk. And he has his first point, so a couple of key guys for Notre Dame have really been quieted. Goodwin, of course, did not start in the game, finally getting into the scoring column. The same with Atkinson Jr. Here's Padula downtown. Krzyzewski tying up with the rebound. They're going to get Mutz for the foul. He kept after it maybe a little longer than he should have. And commits the personal here this quarterfinal. It remains a 10-point advantage for the Hokies. 66 Big 12 championship, and Kansas and TCU already into the semifinals. And Baylor and Oklahoma going at it currently on ESPN.
And Oklahoma up 6 on Baylor right now, so upset brewing in the Big 12. Interesting to see if Baylor can come back from that one, who tied with Kansas for the lead in the Big 12 regular season championship.
An upset brewing here too in the ACC tournament, the quarterfinals. Notre Dame, the 2 seed, trailing by 10 to the 7. The Hokies will continue to play very well. Shot clock inside 10. Ryan's been their hot hand. He's going to draw the foul. No basket, but he'll be at the line.
And Darius Maddox wondering how that's a foul on him. Interesting to see if Cormac Ryan extended that left arm, because Maddox definitely went flying into the crowd. But a strong attack by Cormac Ryan headed to the basket.
Maddox with his second. Ryan's career highlight to this point, the 28 he had against Duke in a victory last year. So he can explode offensively. They need that. And makes the pair. And this is an 8-point game. Well, last time it was single digits. The score is 21-12 in the first half. Here's Couture. Back to Mutz.
That was a great job by Krzyzewski, not allowing Aluma to catch the basketball on the block, forcing him to the perimeter.
Murphy had to fight his way to the basketball. Drops it down for Mutz. Shot clock dwindling down. Here's Maddox. He can't hit it. And a rebound for Notre Dame and another whistle. A lot of fouls here suddenly in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
And they're going to get Cormac Ryan, I believe, the push underneath. Justin Mutz putting pressure on Notre Dame on the offensive glass. And Justin Mutz has put pressure on Notre Dame the entire evening. You see multiple dribbles to back down Dane Goodwin. Notre Dame's teammates leaving Goodwin on an island there, and then you see the ball movement once again, as Virginia Tech has been operating on all cylinders majority of this game. Another beautiful find.
Nice
offensively.
Yeah, indeed. Murphy finished that off. Back up to 10. He has 6 points at 15 yesterday. Rolling in nicely, Atkinson. He was looking for a foul too.
But if there's going to be a comeback, Obi, it's going to have to be on this end of the floor for Notre Dame. They're going to have to find a way to stop Virginia Tech, who has been comfortable on offense all night long.
Murphy directing traffic. Aluma working on Atkinson. He bodies up on him. His shot in the air. That was sweet. Now you're seeing a variety of moves downstairs by Keve Aluma. Atkinson and Mutz banging. And Mutz will commit the personal. Virginia Tech, the Hokies, their NCAA tournament resume now. A bubble team at the moment, but now they have 20 wins. The thrilling win last night. Bill Lenardi projecting them as a first 4 out at the moment, 1-5 against quad 1 team.
And this was a preseason top 25 team that got off to a tough start in the non-conference as well as in ACC play, 2-7. But out of the last 540 teams in NCAA history to start out 2-7 in conference play, Virginia Tech is the first to win with a winning conference record.
What does the eye test tell you?
Oh, this is an NCAA tournament team according to the eye test. You talk about what they're doing, and not just tonight, but what they've done over really the last 2 months of the season. They definitely look like an NCAA tournament team.
Hubb's 3 is on net. Notre Dame creeping back, 62-55. Hubb with 16. You can hear the Notre Dame faithful coming to life a little bit. They've had to sit on their hands most of this one. Mutz going in strong. Feeds Aloma for the slam.
The reason you can play through Justin Mutz is because he is a great passer. When you consider the ability to play through traffic, finding his teammates, and making easy looks for them as well.
Goodwin trying to make a move and a whistle. 7:46 to go. Back to that last one.
Justin Mutz attacking the basket, going up against a bigger defender in Atkinson, but drawing the help of Leszewski, dropping the dime to Kebe Aluma, who finishes off in perfect fashion.
Great assist from Justin Mutz going to break, and he's working on his second master's degree, but Coach Young told me not every player that's smart academically is smart on the court, but Justin is top tier in both categories. Coach Young said you don't even have to show Justin, you can just describe an action to him and he gets it. Justin makes suggestions on how to execute on both ends from his perspective, and he's spot on, guys. Academic intelligence and basketball IQ, he's got the whole package.
He really does, Dre, in a triple-double threat, just like you and the notorious DOB over here beside me. But when you think about Justin Mutz and you think about his ability, his passing ability may be the biggest asset of his game, especially when you think about getting the basketball to all the shooters Virginia Tech has.
Aloma another touch, and those two hook up again, and Mutz drops in another bucket.
But that goes back to Dre's point. Smart play not to stand on the perimeter, cut to the basket, get an easy one, and take the pressure off of your teammate.
Mutz dialed up 24 against Notre Dame in mid-January, not long after Mike Young talked to him about a 2-point performance earlier in the season. Notre Dame has made their last 8 shots. Goodwin now with 6, so they have caught fire.
And the lead now down to 7. Notre Dame has got it to a manageable point, but have to find a way to stop Virginia Tech. And we've talked about Virginia Tech's level of comfort on the offensive end of the floor all night.
66-59.
And you see the 2 interior passes with Mutz and Aluma connecting with each other, as Aluma returns the favor to his teammate who's been hooking him up all night.
Mutz, quick dish, and trying to get another one there, another assist. Aluma wants the basketball. On Leszewski. Help from Goodwin. Flips it up. It didn't matter who was helping. He makes it, and he's off to the foul line.
You see the energy from Mike Young on the bench, going over and dapping up associate head coach Mike Jones. And these guys excited about Kebe Aluma going back to the basket, being able to finish over the top of Nate Leszewski. And right now, having those 2 anchors on the inside is benefiting Virginia Tech, especially on the offensive end of the floor when they can play through those 2 post players.
Well, the pattern here has been Notre Dame cuts in a little bit, and then Virginia Tech goes in the lane, and they hit another big shot, and it's back up to 10. Bryant has been the offensive star in the second half. Leszewski too strong. Atkinson was held. No basket there. He's fouled before that.
Virginia Tech foul number 22.
And coming up, Selection Sunday, bracketology starting off at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Reese and the guys breaking it all down in the men's field. And then on ESPN and ESPN2, it's our March Madness women's selection show. We reveal the 68 teams that look at every team matchup. And at 10 o'clock Eastern, even more coverage of both brackets. And as always, you can watch everything streaming live on the ESPN app. What a great time of the year.
It absolutely is. Of course, this is the time of year you want to stay glued to the TV, watch games, every possible opportunity you can, but also you got to make sure you tune into the selection special so you're educated during those games.
I love education. You had a Virginia education. That's a different kind of education than maybe my education. Totally understand. It's going to be a kick ball with 6:08 to go. And a 9-point advantage for the Hokies. And still to come, we've got North Carolina and Virginia due up at 9:30 here from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Duke and Miami already into the semifinals with hard-fought wins today. Maluma. 2 men on him, trying to fight his way through, and it's picked off by Leshevsky. Goodwin, a 3 coming. Got it! Well, don't look now, but Notre Dame's only down 6.
And it started with the defensive stop. A great job crowding Kevin Luma and the turnover to make it 6.
Ali looking for somebody. Shot clock to 8. Mudd squares up. Murphy to the baseline. And throw it away. Another turnover by the Hokies. Picked off by Ryan. Here's Hubb. Long one coming. He can't drain it. Second effort. Ryan will kick. Here's Goodwin. Oh, they had some chances.
I tell you what, we were concerned about the crowd getting in this building earlier. They are here, and they may have torn the roof off at that shot going down by Dane Goodwin.
69-63. 4:40 to go. Keve Aluma to spin. He gets 2 more.
Man, that's nice. That's a beautiful move from Keve Aluma at a time where his team needs him most. Going to the offhand to finish it off.
All AC second team. He's up to 20 points. He's had a big second half. Downstairs, Leshevsky. An impossible angle, but he made it. And he picks up a foul as well. That was just about ridiculous to make that shot.
The great idea from Atkinson, not necessarily executed perfectly, but the hands of Nate Leshevsky not only to gather the basketball, but find where he was on the floor under the basket and finish it off with the left hand. An opportunity for the 3-point play.
Notre with the foul. Very good foul shooting, makes 85%. Both of these teams can make their free throws. Both among the very best in the conference, 71-66.
And Notre Dame chipping away is down to 5 as pressure starts to build now on the Hokies.
Aline pulls up and knocks in the 2-pointer. Naheem Aline. Under 4 to play. He's got a dozen.
And maybe what we found out last night is what the Hokies are all about. They're better under pressure.
Last night they were magical under pressure. Leshevsky wants that lane. Gives off for Goodwin. Medium range. Yes. Well, he's starting to make shots.
And that was confident. That's the Dane Goodwin we've seen all year long. No hesitation, no thought about what he was going to do with the basketball.
5-point game. Notre Dame back in it. They've been trailing all evening. Here's Couture. Quick release. Too strong. Irish down 5. Goodwin, another shot in the air. Not this time. He fought for it, but he was on the line. It goes back over to the Hokies. turning into a barn burner here with just under 3 minutes to go in this quarterfinal. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love for over 175 years.
Tech lead has been cut to 5, and Notre Dame has done that with their defense. Getting involved in the passing lanes, coming up with turnovers, and more importantly, when they get the turnover, turning it into points on the other end of the floor. A great roll by Atkinson opens up Dane Goodwin, who's able to knock down the three. And the Irish are now in the building and feeling like they have an opportunity here for a win.
A good brand of basketball by both teams here in the second half. Virginia Tech's only suffered 2 turnovers since halftime. Notre Dame just 1. The Hokies are shooting 64% in the second half. Notre Dame 61%.
Well, it's been a great shooting from both these teams. For the game, they're both over 52%. But this is going to come down to who can get a stop, especially when you consider Notre Dame, who struggled to guard Virginia Tech all night.
Hokies with it. Murphy thought about trying to drive it. He'll pull up and pop, and it spins in. And he knocks down a long one.
And I believe they're going to review to see if that was 3 or 2. Clarence Armstrong signaling over to the table, and right now coming off the screen, Storm Murphy's able to knock that down, and that is going to be 3. I got Ron Gruber at the top with a quick decision, and you see Storm Murphy's foot well beyond the three-point line
to make it 76-68. And the three's such a dangerous part of the arsenal for the Hokies. Atkinson, terrific fake. That one's going to spin out of bounds, and it's going to stay on this end.
Storm Murphy wants a review, but it's not under 2 minutes. You can't get the review on that yet.
Yeah, another 27 seconds to go before that kicks in.
I like the idea, though.
And we do have a 30-second break right now. Timeout. 76-68. Virginia Tech. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, they knocked off Kentucky on their home floor at South Bend earlier this season. And that win, you talked to Mike Bray, really turned their season around.
It did. They were 3-4 coming into that game early in the season, and you see the court storming in South Bend.
Wesley hitting that game winner with 12 seconds to go. We'll see how this one plays out. They've got a ways to come back, but Atkinson powers his way inside. Mutts up for a big rebound. Has not done a ton of scoring in this game. He's done everything else.
Yes, he has. And Mike Young talked last year about just as much was the key to their success and why they were a 3 seed in the ACC tournament, an NCAA tournament team. And he will be a key if they're able to get back this year.
Aloma up top. Shot clock at 7. Murphy gets a look, and with 2 he heaves it. And it spins in from three-point land. Well, that's a giant shot.
Storm Murphy has enjoyed himself in the ACC tournament. His first time in the ACC tournament after spending the majority of his career at Wofford, but the grad transfer has shown up big.
Ryan all net from the 3, and a timeout, Notre Dame. So they trade haymakers, 79-71.
But Notre Dame can't afford to trade anything at this point. They've got to get stops. And this Storm ain't stopping. Storm Murphy, a great job recognizing the shot clock, the step back, and the strength to get it to the rim. On the other end of the floor, however, Cormac Ryan, a transfer himself, stepping up, knocking down a big 3 to keep it within a puncher's chance for the Fighting Irish.
With 1 minute and 29 seconds to go. And Mike Young trying to guide his team into the semifinals in an upset of Notre Dame here in the quarters in Brooklyn. And still to come, we have North Carolina and Virginia. That'll be our last game of the day. Aiming for a 9:30 tip-off here at Barclays Center. Mutz will put it in now for the Hokies. Notre Dame down by 8. And Murphy to bring it up now for the Hokies. They're going to run a little bit of clock, taking their time here. Loom off to set a screen, and a shove by Hubb. Stops the clock at 1:10 to go. And he'll pick up number 2 on Prentiss Hubb. And Hemeline will come back on now for Coach Young. And Maddox hitting the bench, at least for now. Last night's hero. And Murphy to the line. A 71% foul shooter. And misses that one. And a break here for the Irish. Notre with a stumble, hitting the deck. With 1:04 to go. And a foul.
Cormac Ryan going down and slow to get up. Grabbing at that right ankle.
They'll get Mutz for number 3. Contact on the play. Ryan has been so confident since halftime. Notre Dame came out getting him the basketball time and time again. It's a big reason they've gotten this close.
And you can tell Cormac Ryan has a little old school in him. Whenever you turn your ankle, you just unlace your shoe, tie it up tighter real quick. Saw him jumping up and down a couple times to make sure he was good. Going to the free throw line, trying to make this a 6-point game.
Ryan, a native New Yorker, but played most of his high school basketball in Massachusetts. And drops in number 1. Ryan at 80% at the line. Makes the pair. Padula coming on for the Hokies. And Blake Wesley, who's 15 points a game, coming on for the Irish.
But look at the offensive defensive substitution that you see from Mike Young, getting his best free throw shooters on the floor and his best ball handlers recognizing that they could be fouled.
Oh, Couture, yes, got the timeout in time. Timeout Virginia Tech. Nearly turned it over.
Yeah, Mike Bray wanted a 5-second call on that one.
Well, you figured Notre Dame, as talented as the Irish are and experienced as they are, they would find a way to get back into this basketball game, down by 16 in the first half, but they have.
They have gotten back into it, but never been able to get over the hump. Virginia Tech's done a great job keeping them at bay and making timely shots. Storm Murphy showing up big time, coming up with big buckets, multiple opportunities for him. But you also have to think about the All-ACC performer for Virginia Tech, Keve Aluma. In the post has been spectacular tonight, not only with the right-hand jump hook, but the left-hand jump hook, as well as a number of beautiful passes. He and Justin Mutz have been a problem for the Fighting Irish in the painted area all night.
He was awfully good against Clemson last night, 19-10. He's topped that in scoring tonight. Padula got to get it across because he fouled deep in the backcourt there by Leshevsky, and that's with 58 seconds to play. Virginia Tech also as a team very good at the foul line. They make 74%. Notre Dame 75%. North Carolina is the best foul shooting team in the conference. And they'll be facing Virginia about 25 minutes after this one is done. And Padula's shoot 85%. He's shooting a 1-and-1. His team up by 6. And a miss. And Notre Dame getting a couple of openings here. Can they capitalize? Tough drive inside. Prentiss Hubb, and cuts it to 79-75. 48.7 left. This is the closest since the game was 2-0.
And this is where you want to trap and make them throw the basketball back to Justin Mutz. Foul Mutz, who is not as good as the free throw line, but Padula, who takes that foul, just missed the front end of a 1-and-1. And remember, Padula is a freshman. As good as he's been, he's still a freshman. This is a big moment, especially in the ACC tournament.
As mentioned, he's 85%. So he's actually, by percentage, their top foul shooter, but they're only 2 for 7 in the second half at the line. And that has allowed Notre Dame a little more hope. And now they've got it down to 4. So Padula, the freshman from Edmond, Oklahoma, back to the line. And he'll get another. Maddox on the bench right now. Murphy is about to get back in the game for Mike Young. Padula 12 points. Makes the pair here. And he'll step out and Murphy in to run the offense.
It's still a 2-possession game, and if you're Notre Dame at this point, you don't necessarily have to go 3. You can get something attacking the basket quickly, get a layup, and then set your pressure once again.
Krzyzewski on the drive and swatted away by Mutz. The follow won't go. Aluma had it, got it to Couture, and a whistle. We talk about all the things that Justin Mutz has done well in the game. He just did another big thing.
You know, we've been talking a lot about his defense, and never has it been more evident than on this possession, coming from the opposite side of the floor to come up with a big block shot. But Ryan, with an easy opportunity, misses the layup on the putback. And you see how much ground Justin Mutz covers to go get that off the glass. A missed opportunity by Cormac Ryan to put it back in, as Hunter Couture makes him pay, making it a 3-possession game now with the first free throw.
35 seconds to go. And Smooth at the line makes them both. Padula back in. Murphy steps out for the Hokies. And Notre Dame, they're beginning to sense a fate now. 83-75. Look at the numbers across the board for Mutz. You know, double-double, 5 assists, 3 block shots. Clutch defensive plays. On the attack, the scoop, and that's going to drop in by Hubb. And a timeout. Notre Dame takes one here with 28.6 to go.
And Mike Brey, if you told him that the score of this game would be 83-77, he would have taken that, thinking that his team would be in favor with the 83. But Virginia Tech has been superb on offense all night long when you consider sharing the basketball. And you're talking about a team that has shot 57.4% from the field. They haven't even made as many threes as they normally do in the game, but they've been so efficient on the offensive end of the floor.
They came out hot. And I thought you made a great point right away about the fact they are already in tournament play. This was the opener for Notre Dame, and they played like it in the opening minutes.
They really did. The first half was a struggle for Notre Dame, especially on the offensive end of the floor, and you could tell that there was much more rhythm on the Virginia Tech side. We talked with Mike Brey earlier. He said, hey, as soon as the clock hit 90 minutes pregame, we wanted to have a basketball in our hands. That's an advantage of being a 2 seed in comparison to being a 3 seed, where North Carolina will only get 25 minutes on that clock to be able to get loose.
Carolina waiting to take the floor here in Brooklyn. Coming up next on ESPN, facing the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia awaiting the Tar Heels. Kihei Clark right in the foreground. Looks focused up for this one.
I'm focused, man. You know what it is. In this building, of course, Jay-Z, we talked about Biggie. Jay-Z famous line, I'm focused, as Kihei Clark is, as Justin Mutz has been all night.
Sure has. So the Hokies to check it in. Less than half a minute to go. Leading by 6. And bounced in for Murphy. And he will draw the foul. Storm Murphy off to the line, the grad out of Middleton, Wisconsin. And it's been a longish night for that man, Mike Bray, in his 22nd year as the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, #2 seed. But are they about to go down here in the quarterfinal round of the ACC tournament?
And not that Mike Bray wants to lose this game, because that's definitely not the case. But he'll sleep easy tonight because he knows that his team's season will continue. They will be an NCAA tournament team, and they've done the work throughout this season. The second seed in the ACC tournament, losing to a team that they've struggled with over the past few seasons with Mike Young as the head coach.
Hokies making 6 consecutive foul shots in the clutch. And here's what Joe Lunardi is saying right now about the Hokies. Among the first 4 out, Virginia the next 4 out. We shall see. Way downtown, and that'll be drilled in to cut this lead to 85-80. Still 21 seconds to go. Murphy out of the pack, reach in by Goodwin to foul him with 18.4 to go. And the Hokies continue to make their foul shots. They can make plans to find an opponent in the semifinals. That would be the winner of North Carolina and Virginia. Murphy shooting 2. He played for Mike Young at Wofford, where he got a degree before transferring to the beautiful town of Blacksburg. Great campus, terrific campus, absolutely gorgeous. And very cool at the line again. And it'll be Padula back in for Murphy. 87-80. Hubb hustling it up the floor. And picked off by Couture. That should seal it. Virginia Tech, great effort here in Brooklyn tonight to knock off the #2 seed here in the ACC tournament. They beat Notre Dame 87-80. Mike Young and the Hokies are into the semifinals.
And Mike Young goes to 4-1 versus Notre Dame in his short tenure at Virginia Tech. The Hokies have had the Fighting Irish number since Mike Young took over in Blacksburg.
Well, they got out in front early, and they really never let go. They're up by as many as 16.
And this will be the first time that the Virginia Tech Hokies have played in the semifinals of the ACC tournament since our guy Seth Greenberg was in charge in Blacksburg.
Very happy Coach Young in year #3 for Virginia Tech, celebrating with the Hokie faithful after last night's thrilling win. This was more methodical. They led 7-0 right away. Notre Dame did close it to 4, but in the end, 87-80 is the final. Teve Aluma, a big part of that success with Andrea.
Hey, you all got the lead early and kept the lead the entire game. What did it take to stay on top of